Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into a question that is totally shaking up the worlds of art, ownership, and, well, creativity itself. Who actually owns the stuff an AI makes? And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi problem. No, this is a legal puzzle that courts are trying to piece together right now. And the answer? It's going to shape the future for basically every artist, writer, and creator out there.
Okay, so the whole debate, and I mean all of it, really boils down to this one big idea, this paradox. Is AI just a really fancy paintbrush in a human's hand? Or is it something else entirely? Is it a new kind of creator? Because depending on how we answer that, the legal fallout is just massive.
All right, so let's get into it. Where do things stand today? Well, if we look at the United States, the legal system has drawn a super clear line in the sand.
At the heart of U.S. copyright law is this thing called the human authorship requirement. It's actually pretty simple. To get a copyright, a human being has to be the one who created the work. And let's be clear, this isn't some new rule they whipped up just for AI. Nope, this is a foundational pillar of the whole system, and it's been around for ages.
You might have even heard about this one. This idea was famously put to the test in the monkey selfie case. A macaque named Naruto literally took a selfie, and a court had to figure out, can an animal be an author? The answer was a hard no. The court basically said the Copyright Act was written for people. This case set a huge precedent. If you're not human, you can't be an author under U.S. law. Simple as that.
So that monkey selfie set the stage. But then came the ultimate test. This time it wasn't about an animal. It was about a machine. A machine built for one purpose, to create art.
So, meet Dr. Stephen Thaler. He builds this AI system, and he calls it the Creativity Machine. Pretty cool name, right? Well, this machine generates an image, a recent entrance to paradise, and Thaler goes to the Copyright Office. But here's the twist. He lists the AI itself as the author. His whole argument was that the machine made it all on its own, autonomously. And oh boy, did this kick off a legal journey. Thaler took this case all the way up the chain. The Copyright Office shot him down in 2018. A U.S. District Court said the same thing in 2023. And then the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals confirmed it again. You see the pattern here? Every single step of the way, the legal system had the exact same answer. No human, no copyright, end of story.
And the reasoning behind this is actually fascinating. It gets right to the core of why we even have copyright in the first place. Judge Howell put it perfectly. The whole point of copyright is to incentivize people to create things. But a machine? Well, a machine doesn't need an incentive. It's not motivated by the promise of a reward or exclusive rights.
The appeals court then took it a step further. They literally looked at the words used in the law. The Copyright Act is full of terms like the author's life, their widow, their children. I mean, these are all concepts built around being a human, right? A machine doesn't have a lifespan, it doesn't have a family. So the court concluded, you know what? The system works just fine. The incentive is for people to use AI as a tool, and then they can copyright the work they create with it.
Okay, so that's the US story, but America isn't an island, and it's definitely not the only country wrestling with this. These exact same questions are popping up all over the world, and honestly, some of the answers are pretty different and super interesting.
So let's do a quick world tour. In the UK, you've got this really unique, older law that might give the copyright to the person who made the arrangements for the AI to do its thing. The EU and China, they're a bit more like the US, trying to find the human in the process. But then you've got a place like Ukraine that just went, you know what? Let's create a whole new type of protection just for AI stuff. It's a totally different approach.
Okay, so we've talked a lot of legal theory, but why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, because it has massive, real-world implications for anyone who makes things with AI or even just uses AI-generated images or text.
When you boil it all down, we're really looking at two potential futures here, two very different paths for how creative work gets made and owned. It all depends on whether we decide AI is just a tool or if it's something more, something like an author whose work belongs to everyone or no one.
All right, path number one. Let's say AI is just a tool, like a fancy camera. The good news, creators can use it without being scared of losing their rights. It keeps things simple. But there's a pretty big but. What happens when someone just types in a simple two-word prompt? Do they get a copyright for that? We could end up with people gaming the system, just flooding the world with nearly automated stuff that's locked behind copyright. Okay, now for path number two. What if we say the AI is the author? Well, then anything it makes on its own is not protected. It goes straight into the public domain. The pro here is huge, a massive wave of new, free content for everyone to use and remix. It also really pushes human artists to add their own unique spin. The con? If you're a creator who uses AI a lot, you basically can't stop anyone from taking your work and selling it.
So what does this all mean for you if you're a creator using AI right now? The key takeaway is this: the law protects your human contribution. So you have to make that contribution clear. Don't just take the AI's first draft. Modify it, edit it, arrange it in a creative way. And you know what? Keep records. Document your prompts, your choices. And if you go to register a copyright, be honest. Disclose the AI's role and make it clear you're only claiming the parts that came from your own human creativity.
And that brings us full circle, right back to where we started. But now, the question feels even bigger. As these AIs get more and more powerful, evolving from just a simple assistant into a true creative partner, where do we draw that line? The line between a tool that assists a human and a mind that actually creates.